I first want to address Mayor Woodfin's comments earlier. There is absolutely no justification for anybody up here today in Congress to compare cannabis to slavery. And I condemn those words by all means necessary, and I know that, Mr. Chairman, that you do as well. It's a disgusting comparison and never should have been stated up here today. And more importantly is that, prohibition of cannabis was created out of racism. The federal government used the prohibition of cannabis to investigate and raid communities of Black and brown and African Americans across the nation. They used it as justification to go after those individuals and those communities. And in fact, still today, we know that if you are Black or brown or African American, you are 4 times as likely to be arrested for cannabis over whites and Caucasians in this country. And it's wrong, and we see inequities all the time. I'm from South Carolina, where the difference between rich and poor is often Black and white. And cannabis is an area where we can work together on both sides of the aisle to prohibit more of those inequities from happening across our country and right the wrongs that have been going on for decades now. And I would encourage my colleagues, Republican and Democrat, on both sides of the aisle to get on board with this issue. The American people are asking for it. 70% of Americans support medical cannabis. Half or more than half of Americans support adult and recreational use across the country, whether they come from the red state of South Carolina or the blue state of California, East Coast to West Coast. Americans from all communities, all colors, all ages support this issue. And the only place it is controversial is here in the halls of the Capitol, and it's wrong. And I would encourage Senator Schumer, Senator Booker, my colleagues in the House on both sides of the aisle, with the divisiveness in our nation today, show the American people how we can work together. We have so much opportunity. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It is not going back in the genie's bottle. It is here to stay, and we have got to work together. We heard today about the issue of drug overdose deaths. There's no doubt that because of COVID and the mental health crisis in our country, the rate of addiction to opioids and the opioid crisis is higher than it's ever been. But one dispensary in one state, anywhere in the country, will reduce opioid addiction. It'll reduce morbidity by upwards of 20%, anywhere in the country. We've got to use facts and data to back up the changes that are needed in this country. I have talked to doctors from Harvard University, talking to the need for cannabis with regards to Parkinson's patients, the way that it protects their neurons in the brain and helps slow down the rate of Parkinson's. I know this, I have a family member suffering from Parkinson's right now, what it can do for cancer patients going through chemotherapy, what it does for addiction, what it does and can do for veterans with regards to PTSD. And I have, this is a huge problem, but we have the solution. The States Reform Act, I'm going to say it over and over again, and I am willing to work with anyone who is willing to work with me. Finding common ground on this issue should not be difficult. Shutting the cartels down on this issue should not be difficult. Letting businesses be successful in the market, giving certainty to the market for those businesses who are operating today, this is not difficult. We should be able to protect the rights of states, protect our kids, protect veterans, look at labeling, regulation, consistency through labeling. The regulatory authority is here. It's turnkey. If we treat cannabis like alcohol, we have all the regulation that we need. We can do it overnight and have the greatest success in this country today, but we only can do that if we work together. So my message today to Republicans and Democrats alike on this and any other issue is that if you're willing to work with me, I am willing to work with you. It is past time that we get it.